Hey, welcome back to Crimes and Closets. This is Christy in my closet in St. Louis.
And this is Beth in my closet in North Carolina.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
How's it going?
No Day Central.
Oh,
Day
yeah.
2.
Yeah, you have it. Yep, we had it, last week or the week before? I don't even remember how long ago it was.
You actually had snow. We have like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches. Yeah.
Did you see Florida got snow?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I also saw that New Orleans is supposed to get a bunch of snow, or did get a bunch, maybe.
They did get some.
That's weird for there.
Yeah. Yeah. I follow this guy on Instagram, and I just started following him because I just discovered him, and he's from like Northwest Florida. And so he was like, basically like did this whole video like, we're supposed to get snow today, 1 to 2 inches they say, but I don't think it's going to happen because they always say something and then we don't get anything or whatever. And he's like, so whatever. And so he's like, but just in case, here's the before. And he's like, shows his pool area. And then like throughout the day, he edits that video for him saying, we're not going to get it. And then he's like, and it's flurrying. But I don't think it's going to stick. And then he comes back and he's like, and it's sticking. But I don't think we're going to get them 1.5 inches or 1 to 2 inches. They got 5 inches.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
He measured it. It's like,
that would be nice. Well, I said the same thing to you. I was like, they canceled school. It's supposed to snow. It's not going to snow, whatever, blah, blah. And then it was like 11 o'clock. And I was like, well, we do have snow.
Yeah. There's something on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I haven't ventured out at all in 2 days, but I have to go to take my daughter to art class today. So
yeah.
We'll see how that
goes. It's
goes.
kind of nice sometimes to like not have to go anywhere, but
so
after a while it gets a little old.
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah.
Could totally be a hermit.
Well, I definitely have been in general because it's been freezing here.
Yeah.
Like ridiculously cold. Like, Wisconsin temps cold. Like I was like, I left Wisconsin for a reason, not for this junk.
Yeah, my mom said yesterday in West Virginia, I talked to her and she said when she woke up in the morning, it was -5.
Mm-hmm.
Like the temperature was -5.
Yeah.
So it feels like colder, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we were 0, -16 or 17 feels like. And I was trying to explain this to the kids and they're like, I'm like, you have to wear a jacket when you're walking to school, blah, blah. They're like, why? And I'm like, dudes, Wisconsin, if it was -20, that's when they canceled school because it was unsafe for you to be on the bus.
Yeah.
And we're at -16 feels like. So like, and Emery makes fun of me because I'm like, I'm totally a feels like person. Like I'm always like, well, but it feels like, it feels like. And I'm like, but that's real. Like when you walk outside, that's what your body feels like. So to me, I don't care if it's 0 degrees. It's what it's going to feel like to me when I walk out the door.
So it's going to feel like I'm not walking out the door.
Yeah, exactly. My nose hairs are freezing when I walk out the door. I ain't going.
Right. No thanks. Yeah.
Anyway.
Eyelashes breaking off.
Yeah. No thanks. No, thank you. And the fact that yesterday it got up to 30 something and then when I walked outside I didn't feel cold, I'm like, that's a problem.
Yeah. Your poor dog.
She's been fine.
Oh, wow.
I mean, sliding all over the place because what is on the grass still is a complete sheet of ice. Like it used to be like that's what you should walk on because it was the only thing that wasn't slippery. But now that it's like frozen so much, it's literally like everything that is on the ground just don't step on because you're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. What's happening? Speaking of ridiculous, we watched the second part of the Natalia Grace thing. I know Christy's rolling her eyes and I'm over it too, but people are so intrigued by her. And I'm going to tell you, what's your thoughts, first of all?
I think she needs help.
She does. She really does.
Yeah. Which hopefully this family is getting stuff for her and whatever. I do think she's probably where she needs to be.
I agree.
To get the help that she needs.
I think they have her best interest at heart.
Yes.
And collect their best interest collectively as a family. So she's back, if you don't know, she's back with this couple that has one biological daughter. Well, is she biological? Yeah, she is, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they're little people. And they tried to adopt her, before the Barnetts.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't, something happened.
Yeah, I
and
don't know.
It didn't work out or whatever. And they always were like super sad about it and followed her to make sure she was okay. And were like, felt really guilty because she suffered all this crazy abuse and whatever. Anyway, so she's back with them now.
Mm-hmm.
And like fighting whoever those people were.
They are definitely sus. I mean, the fact that they're putting all that tax stuff on her when she didn't even receive any of her money,
right,
that she was entitled to, and they used it, is like. But I'm really suspect of them. Like,
yeah.
And for those kids that are still in their care,
agree. Yeah, they're weird. But the woman that she's with now, the mom, she is like an angel. Like, she is a saint of a person.
Mm-hmm.
She is so will not give up.
No
matter
warrior.
What. Yeah, for real. And like, even when Natalia does things that make it so that she doesn't deserve to be fought for in the way that they are like going to battle for her, she still does it. She still is like, no, I'm gonna help her. I love her. Like, she's a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the amount of people that, including Natalia, who like say things about that other couple and then retract it. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, I think they're being manipulated and threatened, and
well, because their kids are in their care.
Right.
For some of them.
Oh yeah, that one dad. Yeah,
the one dad, but then the one mom, who she's the one that said it, like that they were abusive and whatever, and then she went back and she was like, no, but because her daughter's still in there,
right?
So, yeah, because that one dad, he was like they were taking care of him, but then he like cut them out because he was still the kid was the one saying that they were doing stuff to Natalia. And whatever. So, anyway, yeah, all very interesting, but like I'm just over it. Like I feel like you could probably follow them forever.
Oh yeah,
there would always be some sort of drama to report on, but I can't do it anymore. I literally only watched it so that I could be like, okay, what is the ending on this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which there won't be, like you said. They're going to keep it going or whatever. But, I mean, it's good. I think it's the most honest portrayal of everything that is out there.
Oh, yeah. It was so ridiculously dramatic with that Barnett guy. Like, oh, my God. I just want to vomit when I look at that guy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's a weirdo. So, anyway.
Yeah. I think all of them are weird.
Yeah, the whole situation's weird, but
not the new people. The new people are nice. I like them.
No, they seem pretty like normal.
Yeah, they just want to do right by her and live a happy life as a family. Right.
Yeah,
they feel like that she should have been a part of their family from the beginning, and now she is, and they're just thankful, and that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So if you guys watch that, let us know. We just had somebody write on. Like comment on something and asked us to cover it, which it's like, nope. We're not going to cover it, but we talk about it though. We do talk about it.
Yeah. Did we do that we did that on Patreon when we talked about like the whole initial
quite a bit
series. Mm-hmm. Like the first part of it.
Yeah. Oh, Patreon. Do you want to update that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you all knew that Patreon was going away. So this isn't a surprise to you, but we have like paused billing for I think 3 months. This is the third month now we're doing it. Mm-hmm. But then after this next month, I think it'll be like mid-February or something like that. We're just shutting it down. So basically we're just letting you know because you have several more weeks to like finish listening to whatever you haven't listened to. I can't imagine that there's much that people haven't listened to, but there were a couple of new members like right before we were
November,
getting rid of it. So it's probably more for their sake than anything. So, but we will be shutting it down after. I can't remember the date.
Which
Sorry,
means
it's like
the
February
episodes will go away.
Right, you won't have access to them anymore.
Right.
So once we shut it down.
If you want to go re-listen to something, or like Christy said, if there's something you haven't quite finished yet, now's the time.
Yeah. So anyway, we just didn't want to like shut it down, and then people were like, "What?" So giving you a heads up. So
heads up, 7-Up.
Yeah. So anyway, unless we have any other news or fun facts.
Nope. I'm all fun. I'm fact out.
Yeah, I don't got anything. I had something, but then it exited my mind before we started recording. So I'll think of it one day. One day I will. So anyway, all right. Well, then I will get going on this case.
Okie doke.
Okay, so this case was actually sent to us from somebody on Patreon.
Okay.
I mean, clearly they listened to us because they wouldn't know about our Patreon if they didn't listen to us, I don't think.
Right.
But they sent it to us over there by Sam. And it's going to be a fairly short case because there's it's very, like we discussed right before, it's very cut and dry. This happened. We investigated, we caught the person, prosecuted, done, which is great because that's how it should go all the time. But there just isn't a whole lot of meat to it. But this person was very intriguing to me. So I was I really need to just talk about it because I just want to talk about her. And also what a loss we have because of this.
Aww.
So anyway, okay. This is the tragic death of Linda Trinh, Trinh. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to mispronounce probably every name in this case, by the way.
Okay.
I did look it up, but still.
What's that? How to pronounce has not been my friend of late. It's steering me wrong and pronouncing it incorrectly, and people are correcting. And I'm like, but I looked it up.
Well, I know, but I think that there's probably multiple ways depending on dialect and whatever probably. And so that's what I did. I Googled and I have names and they're all Vietnamese. Not all, but the family members are all Vietnamese. And so I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm gonna get mad at you. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
We're friends here.
Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So Linda she's the only normal name. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's not the right word. She's the only name that is a typical name and easy to pronounce, and it's my mom's name, and so
right.
So anyway, it is possible that that's her U.S. name. Say I don't know, because sometimes they just use a different name. Anyway, okay, so Linda was a 20-year-old senior at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
I know it.
Yes, her father Quy and her mom Hoan are Vietnamese immigrants.
Okay.
They fled Vietnam in 1983 and spent a year in a refugee camp, and then they immigrated to the United States.
Wow.
Not long after that, Linda was born. She does have an older brother named Quang. I think maybe he was born there in Vietnam because it said not long after she was born, and he has that name and she has Linda. I don't know, but
it's interesting. Okay.
Anyway. Okay, so they lived in Silver Spring, Maryland. I don't know if you know where that is.
I do, yeah.
It's just north of D.C., basically. Her father was a machine mechanic and her mother was a machine parts worker.
Okay.
Linda went to Springbrook High School and graduated in 2001 from a rigorous IB program in which she received straight A's and she lettered in gymnastics and volleyball.
Wow, I played volleyball.
I know, I love volleyball.
Hard to believe with my itty-bitty stature.
I know, you're so tiny.
I was a digger.
Hey, you would have been a libero. What, did they have libero when you were playing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, probably not, since you don't know what it is.
No.
They didn't have it when I was playing. It was right after or maybe right when I was ending. But anyway. Okay. So she went on to attend Johns Hopkins University with the intent to become a physician. She was well-liked and a hard worker. She was in the Alpha Phi sorority and became president for some time, and then also started out her college career on the volleyball team. But I'm assuming she, dropped those two things because I don't think she was still doing them when she was a senior. She would be named twice on the dean's list during her time at JHU. Linda would eventually move off campus to an apartment complex that's right across the street from the main campus of the college. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was privately owned, but not long after this case, the university actually purchased it, for housing for the students. Yeah. She had two roommates at the time. I do not know their names. They are not mentioned at all. No, they're mentioned, but not their names.
Okay.
The complex, basically, the majority of the renters were students at the And I also know that it's like, this is not a great part of town. Or at the time.
No.
I don't know if
where
it's
the
still
hospital is not a good area.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, I know
Still.
Baltimore is kind of like sketchy in general, like, so.
Yeah.
But it's literally stated like not a great part of town.
No, I agree with that.
Linda was one of 16 students to receive the Vredenburg Scholarship. This scholarship provided students with funds for travel and accommodations who proposed an engineering-related research or public service project to be conducted in an international location during the summer.
Okay.
This is when Linda's career path took a turn. During the summer before her senior year, she went to, I should have looked this up. Dang it, I forgot to. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. So in Vietnam.
Okay, cool.
This was her first time going to her parents' native country. There she studied breast cancer detection and AIDS-related dementia, which I didn't even know was a thing, that there was AIDS-related dementia. But yes, there is. She loved the work that she had done so much that when she returned, she had decided she didn't want to be a physician because that meant that she would be like helping one person at a time. And she wanted to become a researcher and find cures for cancer and other diseases.
Okay, she, like, what a warrior here.
21 years old. And like,
that's amazing.
Like all in. This is why I wanted to tell people about her.
Yeah.
She had also joined the assistant professor in the Department of Material Science and Engineering. His name is He Quan Mao. She joined his lab to work on her senior design project. After the winter break, she had decided to return to school early to get working on her project. She was focusing on, when I tell you, like, I'm reading this going, what? I mean, I do understand it. But, you know, when you're initially reading all these words, you're like, wow, do I really understand what that is saying? She's focusing on biomaterials to develop scaffolds on which adult neural stem cells could be coaxed to multiply in a lab so they could be used to treat neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's.
Wow.
I have to say I'm really slow.
Yeah.
Mispronounce every word.
That was a lot to just say. I can't imagine actually doing that. Like, that is really above my pay grade.
Right? Yeah. So, okay. I was like all about reading all the things that she was doing. So anyway, and like I said, could barely understand what she was doing, but she did, clearly. So anyway, she and one other roommate were back in town. Like, so they came back early after like Christmas break in January. And one roommate was still out of town. So there was only the two of them there. On Sunday, January 23rd, around 1:25 p.m., police responded in 2000. What did I say this was?
I was just getting ready to ask what year it was.
Yeah, that's a good question. 2005? 2005.
Okay. Got it.
Sorry. I'm surprised I did not write it there. Okay, so January 23rd, 2005, around 1:25 p.m., police responded to a suspicious death call. Linda's roommate had come home to find Linda face down in a half-filled bathtub wearing only a bra and t-shirt, and she had a bruise on the left side of her face.
Okay.
There were no signs of forced entry into the apartment, and so the police initially thought it was a possible suicide. But nobody else would have really thought that, knowing her. But
like, she drowned herself in the bathtub?
I guess.
All right.
I don't know. I think it was like before they really dug in.
Okay.
Because I really don't know how you would think this is possible suicide. Okay, so however, the following day, the medical examiner ruled her death a homicide. She had been asphyxiated by strangulation and had contusions on her neck and bruises on her arms and legs. They also did find out she was sexually assaulted, but did not release that to the public initially.
Okay.
One of the articles mentioned that there, like, a gas stove was left on and there was a candle burning nearby, which some people thought meant that whoever did this might be trying to cover up the crime because he was trying to get it to, like, explode. I don't really know if that was the case or not. It's literally mentioned one time, and so could be someone's conspiracy theory. Who knows? Police were then on the search for whoever did this because clearly nobody was like glaring in anyone's minds that would want to hurt Linda for any reason whatsoever.
Right.
She had like one ex-boyfriend, but it wasn't like one that ended badly or there was no bad blood. And I don't even think he lived in the state at the time. Anyways, super like cleared really quickly.
And you said no forced entry.
No forced entry.
Right. Okay.
So that's why initially I think they were like, well, who was anybody actually in the apartment and whatever.
Right.
So, but then of course, once they rule it a homicide, they're like, well, clearly she must have known whoever attacked her.
Yeah, or let him in.
Let him in or whatever. Okay. So they scoured surveillance videos and conducted weeks of interviews of people, which would span several states. And I'm assuming that's mentioned because it's like, well, college life. So we've got to talk to like all these people and they may not live there. They may have been traveling back and forth at the time or whatever.
Yeah, like her roommate that wasn't there. They have to talk to them. Yeah.
Yes. There was DNA collected at the scene, but again, police did not inform the public about where it was obtained at the scene. So they released that they have DNA, but they're not saying how they got it. Mm-hmm. Again, they keep things under their belt sometimes, just, in case they get somebody who...
Yeah, confesses and knows stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So there were a few people identified early on as people who frequently visited and had access to the apartment building. One of which was a 27-year-old man named Donta M. Allen. He was not a student. Well, he's 27 years old. I mean, I guess he could be a student, but I wouldn't assume he would be. And he wasn't a former student of the college. He just had some ties to the students. He lived about a mile away in a home with his mother. He was close friends with a few of Linda's former sorority sisters, and he was even dating one. Kind of old to be dating one, but I guess, 21, 27. I don't know. To me, I would have been like, I'm still in college and you should be like out in the workforce.
Yeah, and you live with your mother.
He was living with his mom, and he also it wasn't even sure if nobody's really sure if he had a job at the time that this happened.
Okay.
So it's like, okay. Anyway.
And the thing is, these students, these are not just regular college students. These are college students at Hopkins, which is pretty prestigious.
Yeah, exactly. That's where, I wasn't trying to say that, but that's my head. I was like, what? Like this guy, why is this guy hanging around these people? But
maybe
anyway.
He's very handsome.
He could be. I don't know. I didn't even look up a picture of this guy. I'm not even going to lie. So he had prior arrests, which included drug possession and malicious destruction of property. So he's really not salt of the earth here. He was a former cook at the Cheesecake Factory, though. So, yeah,
I don't really like the Cheesecake Factory.
I don't either.
No offense to you guys if you do, but it's just meh for me.
Yeah, I think I've only been to one twice. Yeah, cheesecake is good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there twice, I'm pretty sure. And I think the last one that we had is now closed, so I'm not going again. Donta had voluntarily given police a DNA sample as part of the investigation. So they had that. So they were just kind of waiting on results while they're investigating him. And he also had a nickname among many of the students that knew him, which was Mr. Sketchy.
Okay. All right.
So, I could have seen that somewhere and been like, why is he friends with these people? Why are they friends with him? But anyway, no idea what it would in reference, except that he probably looked sketchy. There's people out there that you're like,
100%.
Totally judging a book. Maybe not by the cover, by what you know of them.
No, and a vibe too. There's some people that just make you uncomfortable and you can't explain it, but you have to pay attention to that.
Right. And my guess is it had nothing to do with art. I don't think he was into art. And so they're like, Mr. Sketchy.
No, I didn't. My brain did not even go there.
Anyway. Okay. On March 22nd, 2005, they would arrest Donta. So only a couple months later, at his home, he shared with his mother. Police had discovered he was on video surveillance at the apartment on the day of the murder. And they had also gotten DNA tests back. And the results positively matched Donta from the scene of the crime.
Okay.
12 hours after his arrest, Donta decided to make a statement and a confession.
Oh.
Donta said he went over to the apartment with the intent to rob them, which apparently he states he had done before. Which that's the only time it's like mentioned.
Like he's robbed Linda specifically before, or just somebody in that
before?
Wow.
Oh, well, see, I don't know. I guess that I assumed them. But you could have been just the apartment and somebody else lived there at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, but I assumed them. Okay. It's also said that he had preyed on sorority girls and stolen from them often. So it's like his thing to be in with them and then just like be around them and probably like take little things that maybe they don't notice, maybe a few bucks here and there or whatever.
Ugh.
Which is why he's Mr. Sketchy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it stated that he used something, the words were used where he used a foreign object to breach the bottom lock. I was like, what? What does that even mean? So I have no idea what he used,
or something.
But it's clearly something that did not seem like forced entry. Like he didn't break a lock.
Right.
Yeah.
He picked it.
He picked it and got in. The deadbolt was not on at the time.
Oh.
He states that he didn't think, he only entered because he didn't think any of the roommates were there. Like none of the three occupants
so he
were
thought
there.
they were still out of town for the
Yes, or
break.
just not there for the day. Yeah, probably either most likely gone for the break still, or maybe just not home that day. When he got inside, he was startled to find Linda asleep. She awakened, and they got into an argument, and she attempted to call the police. Dante said he then assaulted her, but he maintains his innocence on the murder. He said when he left, she was alive. So they get into an argument, but she's not dead when he leaves. He knew there was DNA at the scene, and he said that his DNA would have been there because he had been in the apartment the night before. He said he had gone over to see his girlfriend who lived in, I think, on the same floor as Linda.
Okay.
But his girlfriend wasn't home. So before he left, he went to Linda's apartment to use their phone. And I can only assume to call his girlfriend to like see where she was before he left the building and to go home. I don't know.
Okay.
But apparently he used their phone the night before. And so clearly his DNA would be in the apartment for that reason. Mm-hmm. But also he does admit to going over there to steal. So that's another reason why his DNA would be, yes. What he did not know was the DNA that they found had come from underneath Linda's fingernails.
Oh.
So at some point during their fight, she had scratched him. Dante continued to say he did not kill her, but police charged him with first-degree murder and first-degree burglary. Mm-hmm. It's a hard word to say.
It is.
He was set to go on trial in April of 2006, but that was delayed until September of 2006, and then it got delayed again until November of 2006. On the eve of the start date of the trial, Dante decided to plead guilty to all of the charges. His attorney highly encouraged him to take a plea deal as he felt the evidence they had against him was strong enough to convict him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in January of 2007, he was sentenced to life in prison. However, it is stated that he would be eligible for parole after just 11 and a half, like serving 11 and a half years, which does not seem like life to me. I mean, I understand like you're eligible for parole in some places, but like that doesn't seem like long enough.
Oh, a life sentence is like 60 years.
Right. Well, so it is said that after 11 and a half years and only with permission from the government, according to a governor, according to Maryland state law.
Wait a minute. So that happened then. Because it was 2007, 11 and a half years would be like 2018, 2019.
Yes, and I have not seen anything about this person. I did look it up, and it's not been like in the news at all. I mean, I didn't look him up in the prison system, but it's not been in the news that he's gotten released.
Right.
But because the attorneys in the case did state that they believe that wouldn't happen, like no governor was going to give permission for him to be eligible, and so for at least 50 to 60 years. So they weren't even worried really about it. At his sentencing, he expressed his remorse for what had happened and said he deserved a life sentence. He also apologized to her family for what he had taken away from them. And the freaking world.
Literally.
Dante. I mean, come on. I believe Linda would have been like going places here and
100%.
curing things.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
100%. She was super smart and had such a drive.
Yes. The prosecutor says his apology was too little too late, which I agree on. Linda's family was devastated, clearly, by the loss of her, and her brother had publicly said that he didn't even know why she got a plea deal, which I'm pretty sure that most of the time prosecutors go and check with the family beforehand. So
they always should, in my opinion.
Sure her parents had some sort of like okay in this. He did say, "My life has been forever changed by the heinous act of this evil individual." Mm-hmm. Linda was the second murder in less than a year of an undergraduate student of Johns Hopkins.
Oh.
Yeah. Just 9 months earlier, Christopher Elzer had died of knife wounds after an early morning attack by an intruder at the apartment building his fraternity occupied. Police do not believe these cases are connected, and no one has ever been charged in his murder.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, I know. It's really sad. It's mentioned so many times because it happened so quickly or like soon after. So that's why the only reason I really felt like I needed to mention it. But also because of these two cases, it did prompt Johns Hopkins to instate some security initiatives to help keep their students safe.
Okay.
They started providing more patrolling of Charles Village Complex, which is that apartment complex that she lived in. But now they own it, like I said. They added to and upgraded the campus and off-campus network of emergency telephones. Mm-hmm. They improved the security van service by providing faster response times. So I'm assuming this was so the students wouldn't feel like they needed to walk to their destination. So I guess there must have been a van service, and it was like taking so long that a lot of times they would walk, and again, unsafe neighborhood. And so they revamped that. And they also worked with the city to identify and mitigate areas of insufficient lighting in off-campus areas where many students lived. So they did quite a bit to like...
we need to add some more security cameras too, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not, when I make this statement, I'm not undermining any of the things they did because they did a lot. And they're like doing off-campus sites which they're not even like required to do. Yeah. So that's awesome.
But they have students there, so they are...
Yeah. But I'm not sure that any of those things would have saved Linda's life.
Right. Yeah, he picked the lock.
Yeah. So
and was caught on security camera.
Right.
And didn't care.
Nope, not at all. So anyway, great, good on you for like fixing things, but like none of that would have changed the circumstances for Linda.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it was because they were patrolling, but even then, like he had access to the apartment. They wouldn't have just like randomly checked this guy that's walking. I mean, it's not only students on that.
Right.
In that apartment complex. Now it should be. Mm-hmm. So now you could probably check for a student ID
but again,
or something
there
like
could
that.
be a 27-year-old student.
But you could check for a student ID.
Oh, yeah, true.
If you needed to. So that would be something different. But anyway, so that is the terrible case.
That is terrible.
Of Linda Trinh.
Linda.
I know.
I love you, Linda.
I do love her, and I wish that she was still around, and I would have loved to have, like instead of researching her murder, like researching what she did. Like, what is she doing now?
Yeah.
Where's her research
great
gone?
Things has she accomplished? And
it's like over 20 years now. Well, no, it is 20 years. So it's like, how much would she have done?
20 years, actually, because
the 23rd.
It was like the 23rd, and this.
Oh my gosh, what's
27th? Today that we're recording is the 23rd.
How many times has this happened?
20 years exactly.
This has happened before.
Yeah.
Where it's either released or recording, and we're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
On an anniversary.
We talked about Linda.
I know.
Sad.
I know.
It's sad
I'm proud
that this
to
is
talk
her
to
anniversary.
About her.
I'm proud that you did. I'm proud to hear about her.
Yeah. Well, good.
But
Thank you, sad. Sam, for sending that to us.
Thanks, Sam. Mm-hmm. Sam from Patreon.
Yes.
I miss Patreon a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Well, because we did like, I don't know, we had, not that we don't have fun over here, but we had a lot more fun over there.
Yeah, it was like more personal. We picked our cases. We chit-chatted a lot. Mm-hmm. I feel like we got to know the people on Patreon because we'd like write back and forth. And So comment. So guys, you need to come start doing that on the socials.
Yeah, they do. People have started commenting on Spotify feed.
Yes, I've seen that. That's where the Nancy...
Mm-hmm.
Natalia Grace. Nancy Grace. I started to say Nancy Grace.
Nope. Her too.
Different. She's a situation. Yeah. Anyway, that's fun. We like that. And we will respond. And we like to hear your guys' feedback and I got feedback on my winter apocalypse thing.
Oh yeah.
I posted it, the video.
Yeah,
a lot of people were commenting on that, how crazy it was. So, anyway, thank you guys for joining us in whatever capacity that you do. We love to spend your Mondays with you and having you spend it with us and us in your ear. And come find us on all the social medias. We're still there.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. We still post and we still want to hear what you have to say and see your faces on your profile pics. You ever look up people's profile pics? I do that sometimes just for fun. Anyway, we love you and we'll see you in a couple weeks with another case. And will that be, before Valentine's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Right before. We'll see you.
Yep.
So come join us then. And always remember, the world is scary. People suck. Hide in your closets.